Back in 1989, I was in Jamaica and I met a young man. And after a week together, I felt like I had fallen in love with him.
They briefly had to part ways, he to London to study theater, she to Afghanistan to cover the war. But they soon reunited for 10 romantic days in England.
I thought, this guy's it. I am in love. This is the relationship of my lifetime.
Alas, it was not to be.
He said he was going to come visit me in Paris 2 weeks later. And I was in my apartment waiting around. He never showed up.
What do you mean he never showed up?
He just never showed up.
Back then, of course, there were no cell phones, no internet.
He had a very common name, and it's not like you could find somebody back then with a common name, right?
So he's just gone.
He's gone. He's gone.
How did you react to this?
I mean, how would you react? I was sad. And I was also confused and heartbroken.
For Deborah Kopeikin, the best therapy is what she recommends in her book, Learn from Regret. That's what she did 21 years after her Paris heartbreak, when she finally tracked down the one that got away.
And I wrote an email and I said, hey, are you the same John Doe that stood me up in Paris back in 1989?
You jerk.
And he wrote back pages and pages saying, I did go to Paris. I arrived in Paris. I didn't have the piece of paper with your phone number on it. I ended up staying at a youth hostel, and I never found you again.
Kopeikin and her old love reunited for lunch on a bench in Central Park. But unlike in the movies, they did not then ride off together into the sunset. Both were already married.
And it's not that I wanted to marry him. It's not that I wanted to blow up two families and, that would have been terrible, right? But it did make me understand what was lacking in my marriage. I realized at that moment that my marriage was faltering and I needed to get out of it.
Now divorced and 35 years since Paris, Kopeikin has found true love with someone new, happier perhaps, because of her past regrets.